Right, well, let's hope this works. Hello. Um, I wanted to show a few people how to do this, and I thought, actually, why don't I just show everyone how to do this? So I decided to make a video. What we're going to do is use Ubuntu Studio to set up a track in our DAW that's just ready to start making music on, because it's got a bit of a different workflow to what some people are used to. So, okay, the first thing that you're going to want to do, this is how the desktop's going to look when you first open it. Once you've installed Ubuntu Studio, the first thing you're going to want to do is install a bit of software that used to come default with Ubuntu Studio, and it was really good, so in their wisdom they removed it. So you want to put it back, which I know is annoying, but hopefully they will put something similar to it, or put the thing back. Anyway, it's called Studio Controls is what you want. So you go to your app store, which is called Dolphin, which is in your favorites by default. No, it's not called Dolphin, it's called Discover. Dolphin's your file manager. I always get them too confused. I don't know why. Both got a similar-ish logo. But yeah, so you go in Discover, which is your app store, which is this, and you're going to look for Studio Controls. And it's got this S-shaped logo here, so that's the one you want. You can see I've already got it, so it doesn't say install, it says remove for me in my app store. I don't want to remove it, so as you can see, it's already there. Once you've got that installed, open it up, and what it is it's sort of a control center for your audio thing, your audio driver called Jack, which is a really cool audio driver that allows you to pipe audio from devices and think. Oh, you'll see in a minute. I'll show you. It's really cool. So what you do is you start Jack by clicking that button there. And it takes a little minute to get itself up and going. Once it's started, it does some hopefully I'm back now. Right, okay. Right, that'll be a bit better now. So one thing about Jack is that when you start it, anything that's using the audio system that was already loaded is going to have a fit. So you're going to need to, basically, if you're using OBS, you're going to need to restart OBS. But you probably won't be using OBS because that's unique to this situation where I'm trying to record it to show you. But what you might have seen me do there in the video is move some blue lines around in this thing to get so this little box that I'm moving around here is the representation in this program here called Carla of my audio interface that my microphone's plugged into. And this box here represents a thing called the Jack input client, which I created in OBS. So if I just show you OBS for a second, it's got a thing here called Jack input client, and you can see it jumping up and down as I speak. So I've literally just sent the audio from the interface into the Jack input client on OBS, and you can hear it. That's basically how this works. So this here is part of the interface. Apart from it doesn't have an output, it's just a cable, like a USB to XLR cable. So there's no actual outputs on it, but because the chip has outputs, they're still represented in color. And I suppose if I got my soldering iron out, I probably could interface to them, but I don't want to. I could just buy one with better connectivity. But for now, I've got an input from it, and it goes to the jack input client, which is great. You can see the other bits of the system sound. So this is the system's microphone, like the computer's microphone input. I don't actually want to use that, so I'm going to disconnect all of them. This is the pulse audio driver, which is still running while the jack audio driver is running. So that means you can still use like the web and YouTube and stuff to hear and hear it basically. And this box up here is the system outputs. So like literally the jacks on the back of the computer in this case. So these playback 1 and playback 2 are left and right of the speaker connector that I've got plugged in, but down here I've also got headphone connectors and stuff I could send audio to. So if I wanted particular bits of audio to go to a pair of headphones but not other bits, I can do that, which I will actually do, because I do want to do that. These 3 inputs here are for when I'm recording game videos on OBS for the different audio inputs I need to record different bits, but they are open in OBS in a different window, different scenes list. Well, it's a different scene, so they're still present in the audio driver, but they're not being used at the moment. We're using this one. So there's all my outputs. Here is basically all my inputs. I'm going to put pulse in and pulse out next to each other. These things down here are MIDI. So for some reason fluid synth input port is there. I don't know why, but I've got a USB interface, MIDI interface, that I can plug in my MIDI controller, which in my case is a Casio DG20. And yeah, so now what I'm going to do is open up the DAW, which is pre-installed on Ubuntu Studio. This one's called RDAW, and it's really good. I'm going to start a new one. Oh, I've already tried this before, you see. Right, now as RDAW opens, if I bring focus to Carla, you'll see that it's just appeared as a massive block with loads of inputs and outputs. It's a really useful thing to use even if you're not recording or whatever, just as like a system mixer, because where you can pipe all the audio around, you can use the mixer which is in RDAW rather than the mixer that you get up there. You know, it's a bit Mickey Mouse. What you can do, if I can remember what I'm doing, is open the mixer up. Yep, show it please. Oh, you can use Alt-M to do that apparently. I keep forgetting the keyboard shortcuts. If I was better at remembering those, I'd probably be better at using computers, but there we go. So we want probably to control the microphone a bit, so we're going to need an audio track. Let's call it Mike. It's a good name. And it's an audio track configured to mono. Okay, so that's brilliant. Add and close that. Now if we go back to Carla, you'll see now, let's just refresh the canvas so all them things are at the bottom. Oh, no, the one that we wanted to go away has in fact stayed where it is. We don't want to use the system capture, so let's disconnect all of those. We just want to use the microphone. Now I'm going to disconnect it from the jack input client in OBS, so I should go quiet for a second. Now we have an ARM track, and I can hear myself on the speakers, which means that we must be recording audio again. So there we have the microphone now piped through two things, and if you can hear a slight echo, in fact, if I get a speaker, I could probably generate some feedback now. Not very much. Oh, there it is. Sort of feedback delay weirdness. Okay, but that's just mucking about. So actually, I'm going to disconnect the microphone from the main outputs because that echo is annoying. So I would disconnect master audio in. And now, basically, we've got a path that goes from the microphone interface into Ardor, where we are controlling it and then sending it out to the jack input client in OBS. So if I now go to the mixer window, I can control the volume of the very... So yeah, that's what you can do. So let's get another track. I'm going to say we want it to be a drum track. So I'm going to get the Red Zeppelin drum kit. I like the sound of the Red Zeppelin drum kit. And it's got a good name, so let's keep that. Add and close. So obviously we want to be able to hear that, so let's keep it armed. Now I'm going to need something to drive that drum track because I don't want to play it on my keyboard. Luckily, we're sorted. We've got a drum machine, and it's great. It's called Hydrogen. There it is. Oh, and here's a track I prepared earlier. So first thing I want to make sure I do is get rid of the audio from Hydrogen. Don't want Hydrogen to do any audio playback. Even though it does sound lovely. What we really want from it is the MIDI control. Because there's something about this Hydrogen file I made, which actually I'm going to make available in the description of this. Probably. Maybe if I get 100 likes on this video. Which is... I created a analog of the Red Zeppelin drum kit VST or plugin in Ardor with some semblance of a similar sound over here. I always attempt alliteration. So yeah, so each one of these drums over here is a drum that's available in the Red Zeppelin drum kit, and then what I've also done on over here is I've added them to MIDI channel 1 and given them the corresponding correct number of note for the plugin, which means that now I've got this all matching up with the plugin, and I've got a load of beats that I've programmed in up here into the song area. Basically, I've got a control script with a load of preformed beats put into it. So that sound you're hearing is not coming from Hydrogen. It's in fact coming from this plugin that's being driven by hydrogen. Pretty cool, huh? So we've got drums, we've got sound from the microphone. We could probably do with some tonal MIDI. So we're going to probably want a synth for this. I'm going to go with Yoshimi because it sounds cool and it looks cool, and it's got buttons that are in obvious places you can press out, and it's got loads of sound fonts that are already pre-formed, so lovely. Right, so we'll have a Yoshimi. Yeah, so we'll add and close that. Arm the track again, and this time we need some form of control for it. Let's go for something simple for a minute. Ubuntu Studio has us covered with a pre-installed jack keyboard, which at the moment is connected to nothing. But if I go back to Carla now, here's our jack keyboard. We want to connect MIDI out to Yoshimi, MIDI in. We have sound. Oh, it just occurs to me you can't hear any of that stuff. 1 second. So yeah, because this is all piped around, everything's piped to playback 1. You may have just basically heard it like really faintly in the background, but because I haven't actually remembered to put the correct audio wires to the jack input client over here, you didn't hear any of that. So I'm going to remedy that situation. Now, what I actually need to do is create another in OBS, which is a step you wouldn't need to make, but then again, it does hammer the point home that you can connect everything to everything with this. It's like, oh no, cancel. We don't want another scene. We want a jack input client that we're going to call music. Okay. And that's because the other scene has got one called music. I just realised, yeah, so we're talking about the name in jack, not the name in an OBS scene source list or whatever it is. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. Right, now over here it should have appeared. There it is. Oh right, I called it music 3 rather than music 2. Typographical errors abound. Right then, so now we should be able to see. And then because we've got it in a mixer, we can knock it down a bit. But now note, because I've bypassed the microphone's input from the master, the microphone shouldn't have changed level, even though the music did. So yeah, there you go. That basically shows you how you can now use the. Let's stop those drums. That shows you how you can use the patch bay here as a complete control system. Again, like you can connect all the software to like inputs and outputs to any other inputs and outputs in your system and outside your system because of that thing. And yeah, what it means is that you can basically, how much money would you save on wires for a start just by doing it all virtually in here? That's what I've been finding recently. I've been able to do stuff that previously using hardware. I've been unable to, even like other computer systems, because they don't have this level of connectivity available to the user. So yeah, what I'm gonna try and do is make a track with that simple setup I made. So let's try then. Oh, one thing I will do actually, get those headphones on the go that I said about. Well, that's about the end of it. There's some music. I never said it was going to be good music. I mean, that'll come with a bit of refinement and creativity. But, you know, this is just to show you the setup. And, yeah, you can add as many tracks as you want, as many whatevers to whatever. You can probably use some of your pre-existing music tech knowledge of different plugins and how they work to make something that's actually good. Now you've seen the basic mapping stuff that I've shown you here. So have fun with it. It's really useful. I think every producer needs to check it out at least once, just to see if it's, you know, something they can incorporate into, you know, making more better music. So yeah, hope this has helped. Have fun.